Well, it has been a long time since I made any videos, and I've just been busy. This fall was a busy time with work. You know, I work full time, and in doing this firewood as a side hustle, selling it, and things got kind of crazy. I hope to sometime get over to the woodlot and do a video there and showing. But I I sold out. I did not expect that to happen in 2024. It lasted here till about February, and I might have 2/3 to a cord of dry, regular firewood to sell. But I actually had to, just last week, I went and bought firewood. It's been a few years since I've done that, but I am sold out, which blew me away. I'm trying to keep better records here for 2025, but doing the math and the records that I have, I keep track of all the bundles that I sell. And then 2024 and previous years, I was roughly keeping track, not in its own column on my spreadsheet, of how much 1/3 cords and that kind of thing. This year, I've got a column for bundles, and then I've got a column for 1/3 cords, so I can be more accurate. But for the first 3 years that I was selling, I figure I was probably around 12 to 15 cord, 10 to 15 cord that I would sell, 12 to 15, something like that. Well, last year, if my math is right, I sold around 30. It could be a little less, a little more, but it just doubled. And I was breaking my gross sales records all but 1 month last year. And here in 2025, January was my biggest selling month ever. And here in February, I've broken the record for February of, this being my 5th year selling. So as I'm trying to produce more, the biggest thing is just time, having time to get over to the wood yard and sell. And I don't have that because I've got a family and I'm working full time. And but when I do get over there, I have a couple different saws. I've got my first ever saw was a Steel MS-260, and then about 5 years ago I bought an MS-400, and then last year I bought an MS-661 that's ported with a 3-foot bar, and that thing's amazing. And but it's just heavy and it's big, and I'd like to keep that long bar on it. I could swap it off, but one time I had to change the chain. I sharpened my own chain, and I finally got through where one chain was just done. And it is not easy to change out take the bar off, put the new chain on. It's just so big, and you got gravity that you're fighting. And I found that, and I'm like, boy, if I was gonna swap this off and put a smaller bar so that I could use this just for the power. Because what I've been finding is the 400 is a great saw, but there's a limit. And I'm cutting all oak from the tree service company. And even with big ash that I used to cut, it would bog down and stop, and it would actually slow me down. Sometimes it would stall, if I'm pushing on it too hard, or it would get just stuck, and it didn't have the power to keep pulling the chain unless I kept the chain like razor sharp. And once though, even though it's still sharp, especially in oak, ash wasn't quite as bad, but in oak, once it lost that like razor sharp edge, it really wouldn't cut that well. It was slow. It would slow down, and then it would bog down, and then I'd have to pull the bar out and get it back up revving and put it back into the cut. And so for a good year, I've just been thinking about, boy, I feel like I need another saw somewhere in between. The 400 I think is around a 67 cc, and I've been looking at the 500. It's a big price point, so just debating. Like, I can keep getting by. Well, yesterday, on Marketplace, I'm always looking at different things, and I found somebody posted, it turned out to be a dealer, it was a hardware store, and I found this saw, and it was on a really big sale, about $350 off. So the MS462. So I've watching videos. My brother cuts wood. He has this saw. He said you will notice a huge difference from the 400 to the 462, just in terms of power and what it can do. And he kind of felt that you wouldn't see as huge a gain between the 462 and 500, and plus at this price point. So I went ahead and bought it. And what I want to do here, I'm in, the garage, is I have a product. I haven't used it yet. I thought about wanting to use it on my other saws, but it's Mudslinger from Amsoil. And basically it's supposed to repel mud and dirt. If you cut, you know that these things get dirty, and if it's mucky out a little bit, but just oil from the bar oil gets around, and then it attracts the chips and muck from, and you're cutting, and it just kind of makes it yucky. It'll keep working, but I try to clean it off, and this is supposed to help keep it clean and make it much more easier to clean. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be spraying as much of the outside as I can. It says keep it off of hot components, so I will do my best to do that. And I'm going to take the bar off. It's a 25-inch, just regular, not light bar. And that way I can get inside of where the bar and chain is, and that's often where stuff accumulates. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I've got you on a neck mount. We'll see how this works, but just maybe give a different and better angles. All right, so I'm going to take the bar off. I have not fired this saw up yet. It's brand new. As I said, I picked it up literally yesterday, and excited to use it. And hopefully a good buy. I'm sure it will be, as I cut quite a bit. It was kind of weird. Today I was over at the woodlot, and I'm re-splitting. I bought 4 cord of firewood. It's dry. Boy, it is really dry. It's great wood. It's just mixed hardwood. And it is, of course it would be, but my goodness, it's way better and easier to split somebody who's already split the wood, and then I re-split it down to the size that I want to sell. The fella I bought it from, he said it would be dry. It certainly is. It's just a range in sizes from almost like boiler wood down to the size that I like to sell my wood at, which is like, where you can pick it up with one hand pretty easily. And people have told me over and over they love the size that I split it. So I think today I split around 2/3 of a cord, and I'm separating the wood out, so some of it is already the size I want, so I can just chuck that over into the pile and then re-split the other stuff. All right, let's get this bar off. Look at that, shiny, brand new. Very pretty. We'll set that aside. All right. So this is what I was talking about. I want to spray in here. My brother uses Amsoil. He actually sells Amsoil, and he raved about this. He sprayed one of his saws, and he said it really does keep muck and junk off. Makes it a whole lot easier to clean up, if not clean up itself. I guess it's predominantly used on motor sport type things, motorcycles, UTVs, ATVs, even other off-roading vehicles. Well, I'm going to use it on a saw. I said to shake it well. You know what? I might take this cap off. One thing I'm looking forward to with the 661, even the 400 a little bit, just to compare, how does the air filtration compare? The 661, like I said, is a powerhouse. It's an awesome saw, but the air filter gets junked up pretty quick. Every time I sharpen my chain, I need to clean out the air filter, which is probably a good idea to do. Well, of course it's a good idea to do it all the time. Just keep it clean. But I'm always surprised just how much fines and little chips are in there. And from what I was reading, this is a pretty good system of keeping junk out and clean. Wow, that's on there tight. So I get an air compressor and blow it out this way, or I'll tap and get the stuff out. But that air compressor blowing air really does a nice job cleaning out on the 661 and the 400. So, all right. See if I can get it back on. There we go. This is an M-tronic saw. I asked the dealer at the hardware store, the worker, like, why is it so discounted? Why are you on sale? It's not like the 462 is a discontinued saw, or maybe they're replacing it. I just haven't heard anything. But he shared the story that it goes back to COVID and post-COVID, that they they were putting in orders, and there's always a lead time, and especially at that point, trying to get stuff from steel, it took a while. And then when the Ukraine war was going on, Russia invaded, I guess there's some parts that he was indicating came from Ukraine for steel chainsaws, and that all came to a halt. And so they kept putting orders in, and they would get a saw here and there. And then I don't know how recent, but he said all of a sudden all their orders came in. So they had a glut of saws, and he's trying to clean out the inventory. So like I said, it was about $350 off, if I remember right. Yeah. And so it was a deal that I just couldn't pass up for a brand new. Yeah, there's the sticker on here. It indicates it manufacturer date of February 22. So 3 years old, but who knows how much of it was built, and they slapped the sticker on, and then they were waiting for all the rest of the parts in order to finish it off. But yeah, so I'm excited to have a 462 and use it. In the back of my head, I'm contemplating maybe someday getting a bark box from West Coast Saws and putting that on, because it said it gains some horsepower, makes it run cooler. And that little extra power for me could be a really nice thing down the road as I'm out there trying to cut through big old rounds and oaks and logs and whatever else. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give this a whirl. I've never used this stuff. Amsoil Mudslinger. It says spray on liberally, so I'll do just that. Flip it over. It says you can leave it on wet, but they suggest wiping it off after 15 minutes. So we'll see if I get to that. I often get tied up with something else. And all right, say that one's sprayed. We'll go with this guy. Pretty easy to do if I'm doing it right. All right, now I'll try to spray this. Try and keep it off the muffler, but for me, it gets junked up here on the face, the front, around the reservoirs. And then right in here. It is something. The size of these dogs, it's only one for a professional saw. I know you can get bigger ones, but hopefully that'll work just fine for me. Trying to keep it off the fins there, this spray. Maybe I'll hit the bottom here. All right, so pretty easy. And I'll come back in roughly 15 minutes. And then down the road, we'll see how it holds up, if it is indeed helping to keep it more clean, which would be really nice. All right. So I am back. I was going to let this, it's 15 minutes. Well, it's been about 2 hours. I just finished spraying it, and then I got a call that I needed to go help and deal with. So it said rub it down. I think I'm just going to leave it. And I know this isn't lint free, but hey, you can leave it on. It said it just might attract, but stuff will wipe off real easy. Attract dust and whatnot, but then it'll still come off. So I guess I'll try to wipe, but probably I'm not using a lint-free cloth. So I'll piece things back together and have a pretty saw for a long time, hopefully. I think I might have mentioned before, I'm considering down the road, not for a while, maybe try putting a bark box on. Just looking online, it allows for more power, and might try that down, but not for a while. Gotta have a lot of wood sales. I was mentioning before that this 2024 had a lot of sale, double what I've ever sold before, and I'm realizing, boy, could use some, again, just upgrading equipment, just like the saw, upgrade equipment. So last November, I ordered a new trailer, a dump trailer, and I don't want to deal with rust, and watching guys online from Chris in the Woodyard and Heath at Hardworking Man and Tony of Tony Cool's Tools. They mentioned this N&N fully galvanized trailer. So that's what I've ordered. There aren't any dealers near me, so I'll be driving about 4.5-ish hours to pick it up. And like I said, I ordered it in November, and here it is, middle of February, 4 months, and it's not in yet. And with the tariffs of possible because it's N&N is out of, I believe, Montreal, Canada, and we've got this 30-day stay on the tariffs that were issued. They've said it will be in the States before the end of this month. So that would be really nice. I'd love to be able to go get that. And they've assured that I'll be able to. So I look forward to that. I made a delivery of wood this morning, and when I pulled up, it was... the lady was like, does your trailer dump and tilt? And I just got a 5.5 by 10 utility trailer, and it's done great. But boy, I think having a dump trailer is going to be very, very nice. So I look forward to that. I'm hoping in 2 weeks here, the end of the month, make a trip. I'm hoping it's in. I've kind of scheduled that day to go get it. But no guarantee, that's for sure. You just never know. But the manufacturer said it would be in. All right, so I'm going to try and fire this up. I've actually never turned it on, never run it, and obviously never cut with it. It's straight from the dealer yesterday. So I'll take a peek in here. They got a little fuel. I hear something rattling, and I think that's the fuel filter in there rattling, and there's a little bit of bar oil. All right. Let's see what this thing sounds like. It's going to be loud, I think. I think it's burning off, maybe either the mixture they've got or what I sprayed on it. Well, that sounds a lot heftier than my MS400, and I've been told it will cut a lot better than my MS400. So we'll see. But yeah, hey, thanks for joining me, and we'll see how this mudslinger holds up. I'm sure it'll do great. All the other stuff I use from Amsoil has been doing really, really well. So, all right. Well, happy cutting. See you out at the wood yard, hopefully.